Welcome to Ibis Weather. This is Sarah. This is an update for September 17th, 2025. I do apologize for missing in action for a while. I did have a long weekend, and because things are slower at the time with the hurricane season, I did take advantage of it. But things are starting to pick up now, and I'm back into the swing of it. Where I left off last week, we did have Tropical Storm Mario in the Pacific, which he petered out, he formed again, and he has caused some rain to happen in Southern California, as well as in Arizona and New Mexico, but has dissipated. We do have another tropical wave right now that has a high percent chance of forming into a tropical depression or tropical storm in the next 48 hours to 7 days, 80% for 48 hours, 90% for 7 days. Does look like it will just kind of be similar to what Mario was, so not immediate threat to any land, which is good news. And we also have nothing going on in the Central Pacific, which is good news. But of course, everyone's talking about the Atlantic. As you can see, we do have three theme areas we're watching, along with two other areas noteworthy. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. People in North Carolina and Virginia and Maryland, they have been dealing with some heavy rain and wind. This is that area of energy that I showed off the coast of the Atlantic last week. Did try to form something. National Hurricane Center never marked it or named it, but people over there would tell you that it felt like a tropical system. Did have an eye-like feature. I can try to find a photo later on to share with you guys of it, as not every system is named or declared by them. It's kind of interesting how some are and some aren't. It just kind of depends. Will they declare it at the end of the season when they do their seasonally review? Time will tell. We just don't know at this point. But for right now, it has not. So that's been going on. Uh, Gabrielle has been formed off the wave we were following that was coming off the coast of Africa last week. She is, not looking her greatest. She's dealing with some of the issues that the previous waves that we thought would become Gabrielle have. So will she survive as she continues to track northwest? Time will tell, but right now she's not looking her greatest. We do have two waves coming off the coast from her. The one with the X is the next wave is off the coast that is making its way. But right now they have that at scroll down so we can see 10% for 48 hours to 7 days, and then the one behind it near 0% for 48 hours and 20% for the next 10 days. And that one is coming off coast of Africa over the weekend or early next week. So time will tell about where will happen with those two. The one that is actually off land right now, the one denoted with the X, I will say might struggle a little bit more because there's more dry air kind of over there flowing in the area. So it may face a similar fate as what we saw some of the ones prior to Gabrielle. So like Invest 91L and Invest 99L did in the following weeks before Gabrielle has formed. So she just might be a doomed system as well because of this, but we'll get more into that next. Let's go ahead and look at her cone. She is kind of a big system. You'll notice the orange is showing where all of her tropical storm force winds. So she is got a relatively big wind field size for who she is and what she is. She's currently moving northwest at 14 miles per hour. She was more southern, but today her center reformed more to the north. Not unusual, not uncommon for a tropical system. It does kind of show a level of intelligence that is in how they run, even if they're not technically a living creature or living entity. And then she will stay a storm until possibly by Sunday, where she become a hurricane when she gets into a little bit more favorable conditions. Does look like the Lesser Antilles and the Leeward Islands and all that will be okay as well. Puerto Rico and Hispaniola and all those islands, and of course the U.S. and Bermuda, Bahamas right now. Bermuda, you are in the center of the cone, which means her eye could pass anywhere to either side of you guys. Time will tell. The probably will shift as we get closer to early next week when she might be up there if she survives. So time will tell, but it is something worth noting for you guys going on right now. And looking at Rip Currents, this is probably going to be the greatest attacks most people will feel from her. Now, right now, not really showing where the Rip Currents are with her because, as you can see, you can just see the very edge of her denoted there with the red. But you definitely see we are still having quite a bit of occurrence. A lot of this has to do with the fronts coming off, which is what's going to help keep her away from the US right now. So kind of help have an escape hatch for her to go to the north between the US and Bermuda High. So we'll continue to monitor that as it gets closer. Because she is so far away, it's not immediate to any landmass. There is no key messages for her at the moment. This is her current satellite view. She is elongated and messy. She definitely doesn't look like your typical tropical storm. I mean, the feature that was over there by North Carolina over earlier this week in Virginia definitely looked more like your typical traditional tropical storm than this one. But yet this is the one that has been named and that one has not. So time will tell, but she does have healthy convection. She is being sheared out a little bit. She does have rotation and upper level to mid level to the northwest, which is helping kind of shear her out and kind of keep her from having a chance to really get high cloud tops. So we'll continue to see how long she continues to fight against that before she gets into more possibly favorable environments. Okay, so this is a current satellite view, so you can definitely again see a good view of her. You do see some rotation there with her, and definitely see not exactly a healthy inflow or outflow for her. She's elongated, looks a little bit like a fungi, comma, or shrimp. We do see some storms over there by the Antilles and the Virgin Islands, and of course, Central America has been firing up quite a bit of storms. We do have a cluster of energy over here by Bay of Campeche and Yucatan. So time will tell if anything forms with that. Right now, it's not an area that has been hatched by the National Hurricane Center. Would that remain to be the case? Time will tell. It does have healthy convection, and then you can sort of see we have this area over here, which is where that other wave that has come off Africa, and then we see the one heading its way west off Africa in the next coming days as well. It looks definitely a bit more healthy and promising, at least from this view. So time will tell where we go with those. And this is a little bit closer view of the Gulf and then the cluster of energy that we do have over here by the Bay of Campeche and Yucatan. Definitely causing some rain showers over in the Florida area and even somewhat into coastal Georgia. There is dry air that's kind as you can kind of see some of the storms and all that moving a little bit southwest. So that is kind of helping pushing this, keeping us away from getting anywhere close near to Texas and Louisiana. It does not look like anything has any kind of spin right now, so that's good news. But if it's there long enough and has enough energy, could something try to form? It's possible. Can't rule that out completely. Let's talk about the spaghetti models for Gabrielle. Does show this is the Euro, so this are seeing quite a bit of them keeping her to the northwest and taking that escape uh, hatch between the U.S. and Bermuda High, which is good news. We do see AVNI taking it a little bit more south and west, and then we do see the HWFI and HFAI also bringing it a little more west, but still a good amount of cluster thinking that she will make that escape hatch out. For the GFS, then again, as we always see, it's always a very sloppy cluster. But again, most of them are showing it taking the escape hatch to the northwest and the north and the northeast. So that is good news. We'll see if those changes shift between now and then. It's always possible. But of course, again, they both do show Bermuda in very much in the possible path of Gabrielle. Let's go ahead and look at the winds. I love to look at these. I think it's interesting. You can learn a lot. So you'll notice right up here, you do see the wind circulating around over here off the coast. That is where the system was that we saw impacting North Carolina, Virginia, and Maryland earlier. That definitely has a little more of a traditional sense. Doesn't look too impressive right now. It's been degrading for some time, but it's still got a little bit of a spin to it. Over here in the Eastern Pacific, we do see the area trying to form over there that current wave is. Again, kind of elongated center, so that is always interesting. It looks like something might be trying to spin off over here too. So we'll have to monitor that and see if the National Hurricane Center marks anything for that. We're not seeing any wind rotating over here in the cluster for Central America and South America, which is good news. We do see a little bit of winds curving a little bit over here in this area, which is the Central American gyro. Yeah, I think a gyro. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but the CAG. So we'll have to continue to monitor this and see if anything tries to form. This is the area that we did see both Helene and Milton's form last year for backflood season. Typically, they do form closer to land at the end of the season, so we'll have to see if this continues to be the case. Over here is Gabrielle. Definitely see some elongated around, but she's definitely starting to tighten up some. We'll definitely see a loose base of rotation over here by Cabo Verde Islands and a little bit to the southwest. And then, of course, the next wave has not merged off yet, so we're not seeing anything with that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the future. I know I don't usually show these on my channel just because I know it can cause a lot of fear. Again, these are just computers. You put in different data and ideas, they run them, and it comes up with different things. This is the Euro one for showing valid for September 26th, so that will be next Friday. And I did want to show it does show possibly a system forming in the Caribbean. Um, Going forward. So if we continue to go forward in time, so this is that Saturday, September 27th, over there a little bit to the northeast of Cuba and over there by the Bahamas. Uh, Probably a tropical storm at that point, and then we'll just keep going forward. Um, and then over here on that Sunday, you see a small system, probably a small hurricane here, over there close to Miami and Fort Lauderdale. And then it continues to go up, and as you can see, it grows and strengthens. So it goes up and away from the Florida coast and going off past Georgia, parallel to Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina, very close pass for them, and then continues track up without making any landfall. Now, this is just one idea of what could happen. This could be a phantom storm that they're just coming up and seeing. It might be something we may be watching. We'll have to wait and see what next week brings. I did want to make sure you guys are aware of that. The good news is if we actually look at the GFS, which is the one who's more known for phantom storms, it's not showing anything like that for Friday, September 26th. And if we go forward in time, it does not show any forming near land here. So that is good news. So it's just something to monitor and stay aware of. Let's talk about some dry air now. So as I mentioned, we do have Gabrielle's over here. So the green, different shades of green, darker to blue, is moist air. Anything that is yellow to orange or red, and the deeper red is dry air. So you can definitely see most of the dry air from the cold fronts over most of the lower 48, and you'll do see a cluster of dry air over here. So this is part of the reason why Gabrielle is not looking so great. So we'll have to continue to see if she can fight that off and survive long enough. This has not been the greatest season for storms fighting that off, so she may have same fate as what her predecessors did that we thought was going to become named Gabrielle. She just may end up being a doomed storm from the get-go. So time will tell, but it is worth noting and knowing that she does have a battle ahead of us before she gets into a more favorable environment. And then, of course, the Global Tropics Hazard Outlook, which I look to share. So this is valid from September 24th to September 30th. So pretty close to the islands, closer than comfort. We do see 20% or less chance of something forming there. And then same over there in the very extreme southern Gulf. And then for October 1st to the 7th, we do see Cabo Verde Islands, and then points northwest, 20% chance or less. And then from Central America again to lower Gulf, we also see a chance for that. So right now, um, we'll have to continue to wait and see. It does seem like the Atlantic is starting to wake up and realize it's that time of year for it to shine and do what its best does. So time will tell what will happen with that. But in the meantime, we are watching Gabrielle and two waves coming off the coast. Again, right now, nothing is officially, impacting land or threatening land right now. Time will tell. She does have an uphill battle for herself. And then the other two waves, we'll have to wait and see what happens for those. And then, of course, I do think we probably need to watch over there by the Gulf and the CAG area to see what happens and comes from those. So in the meantime, that's what we will be doing. We'll be watching those and continue to monitor. And I will continue to be posting updates. So please feel free to like, share, and follow, comment. And then, of course, I also have my Facebook page where I post a little bit more frequent updates. Feel free to like and share that as well. And I will talk to you guys hopefully tomorrow with more updates. Thank you guys.